Alright, got a little noise from the traffic and stuff. Can I set this up? Okay, so here you can preview the velocity stack that I was talking about. And so, let me see if I can manage this. Turn this light a little bit down. So I want to talk about, okay, so the used car purchase, right? And classically, like what I would do is when I bought a used car, I'll try to get it as original, pretty original, you know. If there's something that I might see on the car that I like, usually preferences would be like, oh, what's the color of the car, right? So let's take a look at our intake here. We have our clean intake that's going to be going on that velocity stack, so that's what I'm working on. You know, I don't know how, yeah, it drops in there, so you could just get an idea. It goes on that lip, and then we're going to get that. Of course, we have a little bracket thing, you know, the little tying thing that goes around it. So anyway, I'm just test fitting it at this second, and then I'll just put that ring on and tighten that up, and we'll be good to go with that. I'm working on the car at night because it's too hot in the day. I don't want to be hit by sun. I don't want to have an umbrella or stuff all over. So yeah, so what's annoying? Well, before I get to the annoying bit, okay, so like I said, you might find a color of a car you like, but you might find something in particular that you like a different set of wheels, something like that. And that's typical. This car had some mods. However, they're bolt-on mods, a very important difference here. We're dealing with a car that has been modified with bolt-ons. Yeah, so the annoying thing is that when they start modding the car, there's parts that are missing. The guy was really nice. When I inspected the car, the part that goes around the battery, like I just showed, that part was actually off of the car. He had it in his garage or whatever, right, somewhere. And I want to say, use the phrase half expecting. I was expecting not to get that part, and I was like, you know what? Doesn't matter. It's just a cover. It doesn't affect anything about the mechanicals of the car, and that's the way I approached this purchase in this vehicle. Then when I went to pick up the car, he actually went ahead and he put that part back on. So that's nice because I don't have to hunt for one. I think I'm going to use some back to black, you know, plastic cleaner and black enhancer for the plastics. So we're going to enhance the plastics, rejuvenate them, and all that stuff, and we're going to probably be back looking pretty decent. There are some paths to, you know, freshening up things and making you know, new and fresh, but the rubbers are actually in good shape. As I look on the hood, as I look around the top of the engine, around the whole thing, they're not cut up or squashed or damaged or covered in grease or oil or anything like that. So they, you know, mostly what I start to do is just use water, and I start to massage them, clean them up, and then see where we're at. And that's really, you can't do that much with the rubbers, those foam rubbers, those rubbers that are sealing rubbers. But in terms of the harder rubbers, they're the harder plastics, I should say. I just looked up the covers, and they're like $50 each. So there's something. It's not terribly expensive, but the annoying thing is, like, this car was missing the battery cover, right? And on my old Z, one of the covers was also missing. It's shocking to me that they would take this cover off and not replace it. It's just almost like, how does that happen? How could that happen? It's carelessness, negligence, and lack of love, right? So that's where the difference is. I mean, the theme of this car has been me fishing out all these leaves and stuff up at the top of the car by the windshield wipers, right? So that's the problem, is that you know, the guy loved the car, but he loved it in his own way, and the way that he loved it is not the way that I love the car, right? And so attention to detail, passion, and effort. So, closing up here, we're not really focused on this. We just did the battery thing. We're just looking at that and going through that. That was the problem. That got solved. And basically I'm working on the car, going issue by issue. This one was an odd one with the intake because it's really big. It's a really big intake. Cleaned it very thoroughly, and then like dried it really thoroughly, and then like oiled it, and kind of oiled it to make sure we saturated everything with that redness. And then I let it sit and actually sat it on one side, like on it was sitting upward, you know, the top up, and then I flipped it over top down, and that's just to hopefully get the oil to saturate the filter element completely. And then a great thing to do with these kinds of filters with a cotton gauze or whatever they are, you can look inside through with the light source, like the sun or light, and you'll see the light shining through. You'll see how clean it actually is. This is very clean. It does look very dark on appearance, but it doesn't matter because the engine, the darkness works to the advantage doing a dark theme on a black car. So I would say that's totally fine. But yeah, and that's the thing. You could swap this out if you wanted to, but serviceable and decent looking. Overall, it's going to be decent looking. So that's pretty much it for this issue, which is the battery electrical. This thing is going to be solved because it already is. You know, the weak connection. You know, the fact that I couldn't tighten the bolt or nut on the bolt properly. Maybe it's stripping. Maybe it stripped that one thread, or maybe it just binded up, and that's why it made that click or slip. So like whatever, you know, that I'm so happy that I don't have to re-crimp or anything like that. I just need to unbolt, replace it, put it on, done, right? So this job is as good as done. So we're moving on to little things. I'm looking at the little things all around the car. And you know, ordering small things, you know, $10 items, $20 items, $30 items. For example, to give you an example of what I'm talking about, this guy was missing. Where is that guy? This guy was missing. So I bought myself a little $6 or $8 set of like these things and other things, whatever it comes with, some kind of kit. And so that's gonna brace that intake duct properly, and I can clean it so it doesn't move around. And yeah, so we'll do finishing touches on cleaning up this area with some wipe down. Some water, and so we're and that's another thing that was missing. The clip or two were missing up there, the push pins or whatever. So those things are getting addressed, and you know, I like to think that I'm presenting the car to the mechanic so it doesn't appear that it has been neglected for years, if that makes sense. I want him to think that it's just a car that has more miles on it. It's older, and that's it. You know, let's fix the car. Not to bring the car in, and you know, first thing he might think is, he's not going to say, he'll think, why did you buy this? What a piece of junk, right? What kind of problems are we going to have because it hasn't been used or whatever? So instead of that stuff, I just want to focus on the issues. And you know, at the end, he kind of had a good optimistic bring the car in tone. So now I'm hopefully going in there and, you know, we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty excited to get the car fixed up. So even if an issue or two gets addressed, like another minor issue is that the turn signal bulb is out. The turn signal light bar in the headlight works, but the light at the top, that's the actual turn signal bulb, is not working. So these are the small issues that are just lingering and were not addressed. I don't like to have anything broken on the car for two reasons. One, it's annoying to me. But two, the police don't like it when something's wrong with your car. And so they might say, well, your turn signal's out. That makes sense, right? But they might say, but then like you're in this odd limbo because like even though your turn signal is working, the other turn signal is not. But that's kind of not the same example as your brake lights being out. If one of your brake lights is out, you'd think they should tell you your brake light is out. Oh, I'll fix it. Then you fix it and everything's good. But no, they give you a fix-it ticket telling you your brake light is out. And it's like, why did you give me a ticket when my other brake light is working? Wouldn't you give me a ticket for brake lights not working or out? But it's not how it works. So that's been something that defies logic, I would say. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the journey of the Nissan 350Z. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like or dislike because it helps my videos to be seen. And I appreciate that. We're growing the channel to 1,000 followers, subscribers, as it is on YouTube. And I want to get there. So thanks for your help. Catch me on the next video. What's up, everybody? Mavi13. Okay, we're actually looking in. I see the little clips are missing or broken here, but I wanted to make a little video. Electrical trouble. So with my Z, when I got my Z, the problem that I had is right here. So before I get to that problem right there, I think based on what the previous owner told me, I talked a little bit about this in another video, I think this battery is fresh. It looks new. There's like a little light bit of dirt and dust on the battery itself, but it's an AC Delco, you know, it's a standard battery. It does have a little carry handle on there, nice. But that's, so okay, so we're starting with part of the electrical system being potentially, theoretically good, right? And what I could say, with a strong connection, with the correct connection, the electrical's been good, right? So I have not had any issue. Now here's the culprit, here's the bad guy. So I see the rust and all that stuff, and I even see differences in things. I don't know what's going on with this, but what I can tell you is that I went to a place where you can pick apart, I can grab the part, and I actually took the terminal off of another Z, and you can see how nice this is, and you can see how this is correct, and that's set in there, and it's got this guy. So we're gonna do a transplant and solve the problem with replacing this end. In all their smarts, they made it modular where that piece comes off from this whole other piece, which of course you need all that, and everything else looks standard in terms of you know, a serviceable part and part of the system. So that's that. So with that, hopefully solving my electrical issue, that's what I'm going to do. And basically I'm going bit by bit with this used car, addressing the issues. And this is where I'm at with this one, now that we kind of went in and touched up on the intake. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. That's it for this video. Make sure you subscribe, comment. I'm going to be releasing more detailed update videos on my 350Z.